Hi everyone, this is Darcy. I'm climbing a tree this morning. This is one of my very favorite tree friends that I've known for many years. It's a beautiful black walnut, or Juglans major, Arizona walnut, otherwise known as. You can see it's beautiful. It's a really big old tree. It's like a grandfather tree growing here in the wash, in the Tanque Verde wash, and there's several of these beautiful walnut trees here. This one happens to be the best for climbing. It's got a lovely arching arm that just invites you to climb up. So I'm gonna get myself up here. So this is walnut, and it's one of my very favorite medicines that I feel is definitely somewhat misunderstood, misused, and not fully understood. Most people know of black walnut hull for parasites, and it certainly is good for that purpose. There are fruits you can see. I'm trying to find one closer by. There's nice round fruits on this tree, the walnuts. And the green hulls are most commonly talked about as a medicine for parasites and worms, and you can find it sold all over the United States in herb stores and health food stores, and herbalists all over make it, and usually as a tincture, but oftentimes as capsules. The taste is very bitter. But I've learned from several herbalists, Matt Wood and Phyllis Light, both learned from, I believe, Tommy Bass in the southern Appalachian Mountains, that black walnut hulls, the ones that have fallen and have turned black, so it means the nut is ripe inside and the outer hull is dried up and turned black, those are more specific for using in thyroid health, and I've worked with it in several clients and have found it to be very helpful. Usually low thyroid, hypothyroid is what we're talking about here, and it's considered a good source of iodine from the land, where most of our iodine comes from sea vegetables or seafood. Walnuts and their hulls are supposed to have a good source of iodine from the land. And of course, walnut is a fantastic wild edible. You can gather the nuts that are ripe and crack them and dig them out with a little nut spoon or nut knife. It's very hard to dig them out. They're very small. They fit in very tightly, not like cultivated walnuts, but they are really quite delicious. So if you have the time and want to take the labor pains to crack and dig those walnuts out, I highly encourage them. They're delicious. The seeds are very hard, so you have to use a good rock or hammer. Maybe a nutcracker would work, but I've never gotten it to work. To crack these nuts open, rocks work better. And I freeze the nuts once I freed them from the shell, and they stay good for several months. If you leave them out already shelled, then they tend to go rancid very quickly, so freeze them. If you gather them and don't crack them right away, you can also freeze the nuts whole in their shell to keep them. And the other use that I primarily use it for, and this is something that is not really written about in a whole lot of places, but is using the leaves as a tea for the digestive system. Stagnant liver, people who don't produce enough bile. This tends to be a warming plant, so people with cold digestion, they have trouble digesting fats and oils and proteins. They often alternate constipation and diarrhea. And I also really like this plant as a tea for digestive tract inflammation, especially leaky gut associated with food allergies. I usually combine it with other things as well, but it can really help to astringe the tissues. And we're having an exciting moment in the wash. Somebody's screaming about something. So back to walnut. Yeah, so the leaf tea is very warming, astringing, aromatic. It's fantastic for heartburn. I tried lots of things for acute heartburn, and walnut leaf tea is really the most effective thing I have tried. It's better if it's a little bit cool, but it does work very well. And walnut is used as a flower essence as well. It was originally in the Dr. Bach's essence set, and it's the essence for transition times, for holding to your core truth and not being swayed by outside influences of family members, friends, circumstances, changes around you. So if you want to stay really deeply connected to your truth and yourself and your path while undergoing transition, free from the would, shoulds, coulds of other people or other outside influences. And to me, walnut is one of the most gentle, masculine trees out there. He's like a grandfather, an old, gentle grandfather who's strong and firm, but gentle and loving. He just holds you when things are in flux and changing. And I can't tell you how many times I've come and sat in this very tree to get some of that grandfatherly holding and energy from the walnut. So that's all for now. If you're interested in finding out more about how you can work with me and what else I do, you can visit my website at blueturtlebotanicals.com. And I look forward to seeing you another day.